calculate the sustainable harvest, and we keep going back and re-inventorying it and redoing the calculations so that the cut will always be sustainable. Basically, we should have the same cut, or in this case, it's going to grow. The cut is going to grow. I was a longtime forestry consultant, and in 1985 I had enough money to buy some forest land so I could have my own forest and manage it the way I wanted to. So I ended up buying 34 hectares here near Courtenay, and then I discovered that there were 98 hectares of isolated crown land adjoining it with no public road access. So I applied to the Forest Service for woodlot license and eventually got it in 1995. We put in the roads here and started harvesting in 1998. When this area was logged in the 1920s, it was a 250-year-old stand of mainly big Douglas fir and big western red cedar and some hemlock. Basically what happened is the fir came in after the wildfire here, then the cedar came in after the fir, and it's the same process. And if all we're doing is releasing the cedar a little bit sooner than it would be naturally and developing the same kind of stand, big fir and big cedar. So we take out the excess Douglas fir that would probably die, we take out the hemlock, which would die and is subject to severe wind throw here, and try to leave that same stand that was here 250 years ago. This tree, if this forest had been harvested when this stand was 45 years old, this tree wouldn't even have been merchantable probably. And if it was, it would have been a pulp log. Now it's a prime saw log, and hopefully we're going to get a prime pole out of it at some stage. And well, before I got the woodlot license, I did a detailed forest inventory of the whole woodlot, and at that time, merchantable timber, there was 39,000 cubic meters of merchantable timber on the whole area, even stands that weren't ready to harvest or anything.
The whole 240 acres?
That's right. And so I just recently redid the inventory this past March, and there's now 43,000 cubic meters of merchantable timber. And in the meantime, we've logged 14,000 cubic meters of merchantable timber. So something's working. Yeah, what we're doing is we're at a vantage point overlooking the woodlot license. The dark, tall trees, that's the woodlot license. The straight line behind me is the boundary of the woodlot. Beside it is industrial forestry. And where you see trees, that's where you see bigger trees, that's the woodlot. What you're seeing here is a long period of transition of Al Hopwood's thinking and approach to forestry. Yeah, no, I was, you know, I was the standard divisional silviculturalist. You know, you clear cut. I took over and we planted, and that was it. You did industrial forestry, and that was the way it was. And in a way, I was fortunate. I really enjoyed what I was doing. I loved it. I loved living in the logging camp I lived in, and you know, I really liked it. But circumstances changed things, and I ended up being able to see a whole bunch of stuff around the world, and got to do some things my way, and decided that's what I wanted to do. Was I wanted to do it differently. I wanted to do it the way I thought was best for the stand, and that's what I've been doing. My dream is to sell an individual tree rather than a truckload of trees as a commodity. And that's why I try to sell to people like Steve Roscoe at Woodland Flooring, because they're making something special out of the tree. It's not just a commodity, a chunk of lumber that's going to be sold for as a 2x4 or whatever. This is prime wood, and it should be made into prime products like they do at Woodland Flooring. And on top of that, you support a local family-run business.
Working locally is important, also from the, the social and economic values we're gaining. Instead of that log being harvested and sent somewhere else to be processed, and it could go offshore, we're able to take that and capture that value back in here, and we can actually increase the value of capture from a log by 1,500%, making a second growth Douglas fir just like this from our local wood, and that's really, really important. How's the floor looking? How's the whole now?
Wonderful, wonderful.
So the floor's looking really good. Last time I was here, we talked about how to take care of some little nicks and scratches, how to do that, and it looks like you've done a really good job keeping it looking good.
It's been down a year, Steve, and it's holding up well, and we get lots of nice compliments on it.
Yeah.
The natural fir is something I had always liked, and it was on my wish list to put it down on our floor when we came here. I found, after researching it, it would be affordable. I didn't think it would be in our budget originally. I thought it would be over the top. But I kept returning to Woodland. His prices were competitive, but his product was far superior to anything else that I had looked at. And when I found out it was cut locally here in the valley, I was quite smitten by that.
Oh. One of the really neat facts about your floor, Willie, is it came from right up there, Forbidden Plateau.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful that I'm looking up the hillside where the trees used to stand that have now made our beautiful bedroom floor, yeah.
Yeah, it ties it nice. You can't have a more local story than that, eh?
No.